bought her.
Princess Elizabeth Stakes, the second race on Derby Day. Simon, all yours.
Yes, just check on Running Line as she goes into the stalls, bearing in mind what happened before the Oaks last season. She looks pretty calm. Running Line has gone in okay, and Glimpsed will make up the line under Hector Crouch for this Group 3 Princess Elizabeth Stakes. Over a mile plus half a furlong, and they're off. Astral Bow towards the inside, Running Line in the green with the lighter epaulets, and Julia Augusta now goes forward in blue and yellow. The rider looking across. Jason Watson would like to get across to the rail, but Astral Bow holding a position at this stage. Then on the outside is Breege in third as Julia Augusta now gets across from Astral Bow and Breege. Then Running Line on the inside, followed by Sea of Thieves in the turquoise colours. A couple of lengths to Chic Colombine and Glimpsed, and Royal Dress is the back marker and will be a good 8 or 9 lengths behind the lead. The pace looking fairly honest, with Julia Augusta out in front by a length and a half to last year's third Astral Bow in second. Running Line the favourite on the inside third under Oisin Murphy alongside Breege. They're followed by Chic Columbine and Sea of Thieves and Glimpsed, and lastly at the back Royal Dress. On the run down the hill then, inside the final 4.5 furlongs into Tattenham Corner, and it's Julia Augusta that leads the way. Astral Bow is second. Running Line well poised in third, followed by Breege in fourth towards the outside. Further back 2 lengths away is Sea of Thieves being called on for an effort. Then Chic Columbine on the inside, Royal Dress, and finally Glimpsed. Julia Augusta now. Running Line going for that run up the rail, getting through quite nicely to challenge Julia Augusta. Not through yet, Running Line. Astral Bow battles on. Breege down the outside. Running Line's effort beginning to peter out a little bit. Out wide Sea of Thieves, Chic Columbine very short of room. Julia Augusta, Astral Bow, Breege and Sea of Thieves now with a charge down the outside. Astral Bow and Breege in behind them. Royal Dress is coming with a thread through, getting a bit tight for room, and Breege is doing best with the clearest run. It's Breege out in front, latest Chic Columbine. Breege, Chic Columbine thrusting. Breege, Chic Columbine, she'd be an unlucky loser. Royal Dress on the far side, Glimpse, then Julia Augusta, Astral Bow, Sea of Thieves, and the disappointing Running Lion.
Breege wins the Princess Elizabeth Stakes. Second is Chic Columbine, maybe unlucky. Third, Breege's conqueror Goodwood. Royal Dress, desperately disappointing, was the favourite. Running Line in what was a mess of a race. They were all over each other, this closely matched group of fillies inside the final couple of furlongs. But Breege has won her first race since her racecourse debut. This highly regarded and often consistent filly gets her Group 3 today at 5-1 in the colours of local Andrew Black for John and Sean Quinn and Jason Hart. And they got chances later in the card as well. What a mess, but a very likeable winner.
Yeah, and unlike most of the others in the field, Breege got a clear shot at things, didn't she? Down the outside, out of trouble. And before I call Running Line too many names, I think I'd want to see the head on, because she was definitely short of room when she was trying to make an effort briefly, and then she hasn't got anywhere to go for the extent of the final furlong, and she finishes with more to give, doesn't she? So she might have been a little bit unfortunate herself. Clearly Chic Columbine was as well.
Chic Columbine coming back off that effort in the Guineas. Just track her run through. She's behind Breege, comes to the outside of her, the pale blue with the navy cap. That said, Breege is travelling better than her, and Breege wasn't really handling the camber herself.
Yeah, I'd venture to say that Running Line had enough room. Was she good enough to go through it at the time when it opened? And she didn't have the injection of pace that you'd expect her to have. In the centre, Royal Dress, Ben Cohen had a nightmare run, absolutely no gap for him until very late on, as you can see in the side banana colours, the white and red, and down the outside. It's all too late for Chic Columbine, making up the ground that she forfeited when she ran into traffic. But on the day, Breege had the look. Jason Hart had the rub of the green, and he breaks from stall 7. You see from the outside, Julia Augusta from 5. Looks like he goes a generous pace, Martin.
Yeah, they seemed to go a solid enough gallop, didn't they? But they're all... there's still a couple that are taking back early. Royal Dress is definitely... I mean, there'll be a few of these connections that are feeling frustrated and unfortunate on the day, won't they? Chic Columbine, Royal Dress, who's come from last and met some trouble in running. maybe Running Lion's connections. I agree, there was a space there, she should have been able to quicken, and she couldn't quicken, but she still finished with a bit more to give, it seemed, didn't it?
I thought this was a clever ride from Jason Hart, because there was just a moment after a furlong where Breege tried to grab hold and could have gone upside and outside after all, but he took back and tried to get what cover there was.
He got her to slot in and she started to breathe. They're running down the hill. Chic Colombine's a little bit keen. Ben Cohen is after getting Royal Dress to switch off completely, and at this stage they're only 2 abreast. They're not now over racing at any stage, and I'd say if you were Oisin Murphy in the box seat, you're very happy. You're looking like all you have to do is get one spot. She's travelling really well, and at this stage it looked like it was almost too good to be true, Martin. Again, like in our opening race, the front horse comes off the rail.
Yeah, it's such luck is important at this track, isn't it? And you see a lot of horses that do meet trouble in running, and it affects results in races regularly, and Breege has just been the beneficiary of an uncomplicated ride on the day in what was a race decided by good fortune.
All right, let's head to Lydia for winning reaction here.
Oisin Murphy was obviously on Running Lion. From your perspective, I haven't seen her head on. Would you mind talking through what happened?
Yeah, the pace wasn't that fast, and she relaxed well, Lydia, comfortable. And when we turned into the straight, I thought about coming out off the back of Shane Kelly over his heels, but Jason Hart held me in, which he's entitled to do. So I came back inside, and a legitimate hole opened up on the rail. And I was probably in there for a furlong, but the fastest part of the race. And I didn't have the speed to come from behind Jason Watson to in front of him. And unfortunately, when the pace collapsed in the last furlong, she logged in, but I had horse again, and I finished the race. We all finished in a heap. So the bottom line is probably should have came back more, although the tempo wasn't hot, and allowed them to race in front of me, and then when they slowed down, come past them.
She's not the most straightforward filly, but this is a free pass for her, is it, given the circumstances?
She did everything right for me to be able to ride her today, so no, I wouldn't be blaming her, only myself.
And finally, was she calm in the stalls as well, because we all remember what happened this time last year?
Yeah, she was excellent.
Okay, great. Thanks. Oisin.